Ameke was a small village nestled in the lush greenery of eastern Nigeria. The air was always thick with the scent of blooming flowers and the sound of chirping birds. Mazi Ibe, a tall and lean man with sun-withered skin and a gentle smile, was a well-known Pawan tapper in the village. His hands were calloused from years of climbing palm trees, and his eyes held a twinkle of resilience. His wife, Ifed, was a petite woman with a warm, inviting face. She often wore colorful traditional attire and had a determined look in her eyes. Despite their struggles, she maintained a cheerful demeanor. Together, they had 5 children. Obum, their first son, a lanky young boy with a serious expression and a deep sense of responsibility. Ginika, their second child, a vibrant girl with bright eyes and a head full of curly hair. Oge, their third daughter, a quiet and observant girl with a kind face. Okenna, their fourth child, a playful boy with a mischievous grin. Kosara, their youngest, a sweet little girl with wide, curious eyes. Life in Ameke was challenging for the Ibe's family. Mazi Ibe would leave early in the morning to tap palm wine, his bamboo containers clinking softly as he climbed the tall palm trees. Ifed, his wife, would fry akara in front of their modest compound. The aroma of the fried akara mingling with the fresh morning air. Despite their hard work, they barely managed to eat twice a day. Ifedi's small earnings from selling akara in the village markets were used to feed the family and support their children's education. One fateful day, Mazibe was out tapping palm wine while Ifed and their children were at home. Obum, their first son, was excited as he was supposed to purchase his jam form that day, the first step towards entering university. His mother had given him part of the money, and his father was supposed to complete it after selling the palm wine. But tragedy struck when Mazibe fell from the palm tree. The village was in shock. Ifed and the children were devastated by the sudden loss. Obum stood in disbelief, holding the money in his hand, the money that his mother has already given him. His dreams momentarily shattered. The Ibes family mourned the loss of their father deeply. The village community supported them, bringing food and helping with daily chores. Ifed, though heartbroken, knew she had to be strong for her children. After mourning her husband, she continued to fry akara, the determination in her eyes more evident than ever. Obum, her son, took on more responsibilities, helping his mother Ifed and trying to find ways to support his siblings. He was determined to fulfill his father's dream of seeing him and his sister Geneka in university. With their father's death, life became even more challenging for the Ibe's family. However, their love and respect for each other kept them going. Obum and Geneka were more determined than ever to succeed in their studies. Ifedi's resilience became a beacon of hope for the entire family. The village of Ameke watched as the Ibe's family navigated their grief and struggles with grace and determination. The future was uncertain, but their bond and determination gave them the strength to face whatever came next. Ifed, their mother, and Obum, her first son, now made more frequent trips to the village markets. Ifed sold her akara while Obum looked for odd jobs to earn some money. The market was bustling with activity, colorful stalls, and variety of goods. Despite the noise and chaos, the Ibes family found a way to make ends meet. One day, a kind-hearted villager who had been observing Obum's hard work and dedication offered to help him with his jam farm. This act of kindness rekindled the family's hope. Obum and Geneka began to dream again, believing that despite their father's tragic death, there was still a future for them. With the help of the kind-hearted villager, Obum entered the university. The campus was a new world for him, filled with opportunities and challenges. He studied diligently, determined to make the most of this chance. However, in his second year, his sponsor encountered financial difficulties and could no longer support him. Obum, with a heavy heart, had to drop out of the school. Back in Ameke, Obum's mother, Ifed, encouraged him to learn a trade. Ginika, his younger sister, had started learning tailoring, and Ifed was doing her best to ensure the younger children finished their secondary schools. Obum chose to learn how to repair cars at the village popular mechanic workshop. His diligence, work, and good character quickly made him a favorite among customers. One day, a beautiful and wealthy young lady named Ndidi came to the mechanic workshop to service her car. Ndidi, with her elegant and robust figure, commanded attention. Her life had been filled with business responsibilities and personal heartbreaks, leaving her isolated. When she returned to pick up her car, the workshop owner called Obum to bring her the keys. Intrigued by Obum, Ndidi asked about his background. Despite the environment, they had a meaningful conversation, and Ndidi gave Obum her number. From that day onwards, she frequently visited the workshop just to see Obum. They built a friendship, sharing stories and dreams. Ndidi saw potential in Obum beyond his current circumstances. As time passed, Obum completed his training. Ndidi, recognizing his talent and character, invited him to join her in the city. She believed he could achieve much more with better opportunities. Obum, whose life had already begun to improve thanks to Ndidi's influence, accepted her offer. He informed his family that he had a friend in the city, but kept the details vague. Obum's move to the city marked a new chapter in his life. Ndidi welcomed him warmly, introducing him to a more sophisticated lifestyle. She helped him settle in and guided him through the complexities of life in the city. Obum was amazed by the vast opportunities and the bustling city environment. Obum's family noticed the positive changes in him through his increase in financial support, but he did not disclose his relationship with Ndidi. He wanted to keep their relationship private, focusing on helping his family and adapting to city life. The distance from his family weighed on him, but he remained committed to their well-being. Ndidi and Obum's friendship deepened. They spent time exploring the city, discussing business ideas, and sharing their personal stories. Ndidi appreciated Obum's sincerity and work ethic, while Obum admired Ndidi's resilience and generosity. Their bond grew stronger, and they found solace in each other's company. With Ndidi's support, Obum began exploring business opportunities in the city. He applied his mechanical skills and learned new aspects of the trade. Ndidi introduced him to her network, helping him gain valuable contacts. Obum's confidence grew as he navigated this new environment, always mindful of his family back in the village. Despite his busy schedule, Obum made sure to stay connected with his family. He regularly called home, ensuring his mother and siblings were doing well. His support helped his siblings continue their education and ease his mother's burden. The family, though curious about his mysterious friend, respected his privacy. Obum and Ndidi continued to grow closer. Ndidi, who had been hurt by past relationships, found herself drawn to Obum's genuine nature. Obum, grateful for her support, remained dedicated to proving himself. Their relationship, built on mutual respect and understanding, hinted at a promising future. As Obum and Ndidi's relationship grew stronger, they began to operate as a cohesive team. Ndidi invested in Obum both emotionally and financially. Their love blossomed, and they promised each other marriage. Trusting Obum's abilities, Ndidi handed over the management of most of her businesses to him, which he managed with remarkable skill and dedication. Ndidi suggested Obum involve his family in their businesses. Ginika was put in charge of the village boutique, showcasing her skills in tailoring and management. Ndidi also urged Obum to open a provision shop for their mother, Ifed, and provided a car and a driver to ease her daily struggles. The family's life transformed significantly, but they remained unaware of Ndidi's role behind their newfound prosperity. The time had come for Obum to introduce Ndidi to his family. He was excited yet anxious about their reaction. When they arrived at Ameke, the village was abuzz with curiosity. Obum's family eagerly awaited to meet the mysterious benefactor. As Obum introduced Ndidi to his family, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. The family was taken aback by Ndidi's appearance. They saw her as older and more robust than they had expected. Whispers and murmurs filled the air as the family processed the information. As Obum and Ndidi stood before his family, the initial shock turned to vehement rejection. The family accused Ndidi of being a gold digger and a manipulator. Ifed, Obum's mother, voiced her disbelief and anger, convinced that Ndidi had used charms to ensnare her son. The siblings echoed her sentiments, citing Ndidi's age and body shape as further evidence of her unsuitability. The confrontation grew heated, with emotions running high on all sides. Obum felt a knot tighten in his stomach as he stood beside Ndidi, facing his family's disapproval. His mother, Ifed, was the first to speak, her voice trembling with anger and disbelief. She said, "Obum, this woman is older than you. She's using you. Can't you see it? Look at her. She doesn't belong here. Take her away. What kind of marriage is that?" she exclaimed, pointing an accusatory finger at Ndidi. Obum's siblings chimed in, their voices a chorus of condemnation. "She's a gold digger, Brother Obum," Okenna said harshly. Hey, no marriage. She's here to take the little we have," added Oge, the younger sister, her eyes narrowing with suspicion. Even Gineka, who had been taking care of the boutique, thanks to Ndidi, looked away, unable to meet Ndidi's gaze. Obum's heart sank. He had expected resistance, but not this level of hostility. He looked at Ndidi, who stood by his side with a composed but pained expression. "Mama, please listen," Obum pleaded. "Ndidi is not what you think. She has helped us more than you know. She is the reason why we have all these things and all these opportunities we have." But Ifed, his mother, was not swayed. "She has bewitched you, Obum. Listen to me. She has bewitched you. Open your eyes. She's too old, too fat, and only after your youth and hard-earned success. We cannot accept this," she said, her voice breaking with emotions. Obum felt a surge of frustration and sadness, and he said, "Mama, Ndidi has done nothing but good for us. She's invested in our family, helped us grow. I love her and I'm not leaving her." As Obum was talking, the air was thick with tension. The family's faces were set in hard lines of disapproval, their minds closed to his words. The village setting, once a place of comfort, now felt hostile and alien. Obum stood his ground, his heart torn between his love for Ndidi and his loyalty to his family. The situation grew increasingly heated, with emotions running high on both sides. The family issued an ultimatum that Obum had to choose between them and Ndidi. They believed they were protecting him from making a grave mistake. Obum was torn, his love for his family clashing with his commitment to Ndidi. The pain of the situation was evident in his eyes. Faced with the impossible choice, Obum chose to stand by Ndidi. He explained to his family that he loved them deeply, but could not abandon the woman who had done so much for him. The decision broke his heart, but he hoped they would eventually understand and accept his choice. Obum and Ndidi returned to the city, their bond stronger but burdened by the recent events. Ndidi supported Obum through his pain, reminding him of their shared dreams and future. Obum focused on his work, channeling his emotions into making their business ventures even more successful. As months passed, Obum's pain began to heal. He threw himself into managing Ndidi's businesses, proving his capabilities and earning respect in the business community. Ndidi continued to be his anchor, offering unwavering support and love. Together, they built a life filled with mutual respect and success. Despite their success, Obum missed his family. He longed for reconciliation and hoped they would see the truth about his relationship with Ndidi. After months of no contact, Ifed, Obum's mother, decided to reach out to Obum with a letter. She pretended to accept Ndidi, expressing regret for her earlier harsh words. The letter was filled with warm, conciliatory language, giving Obum hope that his family had finally come around. Obum sat in his city apartment, holding the letter from his mother. As he read, his eyes filled with tears of relief and joy. And he screamed, "Ndidi, they have accepted us," he said, turning to her with a smile. "Mama wants us to come home and set a date for the marriage." As he said that to Ndidi, Ndidi's face lit up with cautious optimism, and she said, "Are you sure, Obum? I don't want you to get hurt again, no." And Obum nodded confidently. "It is real this time. We are going home." Obum and Ndidi traveled back to Ameke, hopeful and excited about the future. Upon arriving, they were greeted by a full house. Ifed, Obum's mother, and his siblings were all present, their expressions unreadable. Obum's heart swelled with hope as he saw his family gather to greet them. He turned to Ndidi and smiled, and he said, "This is it," squeezing her hand. But as they entered the house, the atmosphere felt heavy with tension. Ifed, his mother, wasted no time, and she said, "Obum, we need to talk." She said sternly, The warmth from the letter was absent in her voice. Ifedi dropped the pretense. She demanded that Obum leave Ndidi, citing her age and claiming she could not bear children. She threatened that if Obum refused, he would never be allowed to step foot in their house again. Obum's heart sank as his mother's true intentions became clear. And Obum said, "Mama, how can you say this?" He asked, his voice trembling with emotion. "Ndidi has done so much for us. She has changed our lives." As he was talking, his mother's face was hard. Unyielding, she said again, "She is not right for you, Obum. She cannot give you children. You need a younger woman. If you stay with her, you will never be welcome here again. Never." The room fell silent as the weight of her words hung in the air. Obum looked around, seeking support from his siblings, but their faces were blank, unreadable. Obum tried to reason with his family, explaining everything Ndidi had done for them and how genuine their love was. He poured his heart out, hoping to change their minds. And he said, "Mama, please listen to me," he pleaded. "Ndidi has been nothing but good to us. She has given us opportunities we never dreamed of. Our love is real, Mama." Ifed shook her head stubbornly and she said, "No, Obum, Omamme, this is not about love. This is about your future and our family's honor." Desperate, Obum turned to his younger brother, Ukenna. "Please, Ukenna, talk to Mama on my behalf. Talk to her. Help her to understand." Ukenna stepped forward, putting his hand on Obum's shoulder, and he said, "I will try, brother. Don't worry. We will work it out. I am with you, okay?" When all this was going on, they kept Ndidi at the sitting room while they were inside with Obum. Ndidi has no idea what was going on. After everything, Obum and Ndidi returned to the city. Obum was heartbroken but hopeful that Ukenna might change their mother's mind. He explained everything to Ndidi, who listened silently. Back in their apartment, Obum recounted the painful visit to Ndidi. "They still don't understand," he said, his voice heavy with sorrow. But Ukenna promised to talk to Mama. Maybe there is still hope. As he was talking, Ndidi was nodding her head, her eyes filled with empathy. "We can only hope, Obum. I just want you to be happy," she said. As time passed, it became clear that Ifedi, Obum's mother, would not change her mind. Ndidi, noticing Obum's ongoing distress, made a difficult decision. She began to withdraw, taking back the businesses and assets she had given to Obum and his family. Ndidi approached Obum one evening, her face set with a difficult resolve, and she said, "Obum, I can't do this anymore," she said softly. "I can't marry into a family that doesn't accept me. It's tearing you apart, and I can't bear to see you suffer." Obum looked at her, his eyes wide with shock and pain, and he said, Ndidi, please, don't do this. We can find a way. Please, don't do this to me. But Ndidi shook her head and said, I have made up my mind. I am taking back everything. You deserve to be with someone your family accepts. I can't do this anymore. Please. The weight of Ndidi's decision was too much for Obum to bear. He fell into a deep depression, unable to move on from the love he had lost. The stress and heartache eventually led to a heart attack, and Obum tragically passed away. Obum's health deteriorated rapidly after Ndidi left him. The vibrant, hopeful young man who had once dreamed of a bright future was now a shadow of his former self. One evening, as he sat alone in his apartment, clutching a photograph of him and Ndidi, his heart gave out. He was found by a neighbor the next day, his lifeless body a testament to a love that could not overcome familial opposition. News of Obum's death reached his family, plunging them into a deep sense of guilt and regret. Ifed, in particular, was consumed with sorrow, realizing too late the true extent of her actions. When the news of Obum's death reached Ameke, the family was shattered. Ifed, his mother, collapsed in tears, her heart breaking with the realization that her stubbornness and prejudice had cost her son his life. The siblings, too, were filled with regret, understanding that their rejection of Ndidi had driven Obum to despair. Obum's death shattered his family. Ifed sat in her modest home, wrecked with guilt and sorrow. She cried, I killed my son. I killed my son. I'm the one that killed her. I killed my son, she whispered, tears falling onto her lap. The family was once again struggling, their brief period of prosperity gone with Obum's death. Okenna and the other siblings tried to console her mother, but the pain of their loss and the realization of their mistakes hung heavily over them all. And he said, we should have listened. Ginika said softly, we should have accepted Ndidi. All these things couldn't have happened. Brother could have not died. Chai! After the burial, Ifed visited Obum's grave almost every day, her face etched with lines of sorrow and remorse. I am sorry, my son. I killed you, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. I was blind. I only wanted what I thought was best for you. Please forgive me. I am sorry, my son. I cut your life short. I am sorry. This is what she does every day. With Obum gone and Ndidi having taken back all her support, the family's situation quickly deteriorated. They returned to their previous state of poverty, struggling to make ends meet once again. The Ibes family found themselves back in the throes of poverty. The provision shop was closed and the car was gone. Ifed resumed her Akara business, her heart heavy with the loss of her son and the opportunities they had squandered. Ginika struggled to keep the boutique afloat, but without Ndidi's support, it soon shut down. The family's fall from grace was swift and harsh, a painful reminder of the consequences of their actions. They worked hard to survive, each day a struggle, each meal a previous victory. This is where our story ends. But before we conclude, let's look into the moral lessons. The story of Obum and Ndidi offers several profound moral lessons. They are the dangers of prejudice. Ifedi and her family's prejudices against Ndidi's age and body shape led them to reject a woman who had only brought good into their lives. Their inability to look beyond superficial attributes resulted in devastating consequences. The importance of acceptance. True love and genuine relationships require acceptance and support from loved ones. The family's rejection of Ndidi, despite her many contributions, ultimately led to their downfall. The consequences of stubbornness. Ifedi's stubbornness and refusal to accept Ndidi, despite the clear evidence of her positive impact, led to the loss of her son and the return of the family's poverty. Stubbornness in the face of reason and love can have dire consequences. The fragility of happiness. Obum's happiness was fragile, built on the support and love of Ndidi. When that support was withdrawn, he was unable to cope, highlighting the importance of a strong, supportive network in maintaining mental and emotional health. Regret and remorse. The family's regret after Obum's death shows the importance of making decisions with compassion and understanding, as some mistakes cannot be undone. This conclusion brings the story in full circle, illustrating the profound impact of prejudice and the importance of acceptance, love, and understanding. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And also touch the bell button so that you will be notified each time we put a new video. Subscribe for more stories with powerful life lessons. Please and please subscribe to help us grow our channels. God bless you all as you do so. Thank you. Bye-bye.